Hello, good morning students. Welcome to e-learning. We are learning chapter 7 population in our 12th economics, and we are coming to the 7th lecture today. Now, in a previous lecture we have studied that why there is a rapid growth in population, what are the causes of rapid growth in population, where we have learned about the two main factors, that is birth rate and the death rate, where we have seen that the birth rate has fallen from 1951, where it was 40 children for 1000 persons. 40 children were born in 1951, which reduced to 2011 census data says that it came that for every 1000 people there are now only 22 children are born. So you find that the death rate has fallen by 18 children's. Okay, where the second reason, that is the death rate, where we have seen the death rate also has fallen, where for every 1000 people 27 people were been dead. Now in 2011 we have seen that census data says that for every 1000 people only 7 people are dying. So we find that the difference is now 20. The death rate has gone down with 20% and birth rate has gone down by 18%. So we find that birth rate is decreased less than the death rate, but still the majority of population is still increasing, because there are birth rate is 22 where the death is only 7 for every 1000 people. So you find the difference. So every net 1000 people 15 children are born extra, and it is because of that our net population has been increasing every day by day. So this is what the data which we have learned, and these are the main consequences of our population explosion also. So we find that because of this there is a rapid increase in population. Now in today's lecture we are going to start with high birth rates. Why there is a high birth rates which has been happening up, what are the causes of high birth rate? So this is what which we are going to learn, and it has been divided into 3 parts. So here we are going to discuss about the part 1. So let's start with knowing what are the causes of high birth rate. So there are 3 causes mainly, that is here: social factors, economic factors, and other factors. Now when we see the social factors, socially, or we can say people, a human being cannot survive alone, so he need to get socialized. So what the society, what the surrounding people has been thinking up, and what are the mentalities, that is all cultural thing which has been made up the mind for high birth rate. So here it says the universality of marriage. First point says that universality of marriage. Second, it says about early marriage and widow remarriage. So people think that earlierly the people, or we can say the children were born at the 16, 17 of age. The girl has been married with the age of 14 or 13. So you find that the marriage system was been going on with a very earlier stage, and due to that there was a more of reproduction which has been happening up. Then main preference of male child was became a major factor, that everybody wants what, a male child to be born at their family, so that their family goes on, the generation goes on for their family. Then after joint family system. So all these 4 points comes under the social factors or social thinking of the people, and because of that there was a high birth rate which has been increased. So we are going to look today this particular social factor in detail. Apart from social factor, we have economic factors. Now in economic factors we are 3 points here. First is low level of education. Because of education, you find that if their education, they are not educated, they just go on just reproducing the children, as majority of children will help them in their older age. Because of this thinking, mental thinking, you find that there is a high birth rate in India. Same way, low level of income. When a people, they cannot able to survive with their own income, they try to think that if more of children are born, their income come together, join together, and might possible that they can have good amount of earning in later on. So all different mentalities creates financial problems, and financial problems lead to the more high birth rate of population. Then after high infant mortality rate, there is many of chances that in the ancient time, where we find that there was early child marriage, and because of that the females are not that much we can say strength enough, because they have been married early in the teenage only, not by when they are in youth or any else. So you find that there are chances of infant mortality rate, or we can say they are not they are premature, so they are not mature enough to give birth. So that time there are high type of possibilities to get this particular infant babies to get death. So you find that economic factors plays an important role, and this factors also creates high birth rate in our country. Then after the other factors, where the 2 points are there, first is the high fertility rate and second is the lack of family planning information. So these two factors also leads that if you have not a proper plan that how we should go with our family planning, it leads to us more birth creation, and again it becomes a problem for the country itself. So this is all factors are been there, and because of that we are facing now high birth rates in our country. So today's topic we are going to learn about the 4 points under the social factors which cause high birth rate in our country. So let's start with our first point, that is universality of marriage. The main thing in India, what every people, every caste talks about, that is the marriage. They think only about marriage, marriage and marriage. So you find that here the society has created that if a boy is became at the age of 18 or 21 or plus, they try to make a habit that you start go with the marriage, everything. So you find that it's a religious thing. No point of that it is a religious thing, it is good for. But you find that here people try to talk about more. If a person does not get married by 25 or 28, the society starts talking about if a person is not married after 30. So because of this, those people who want to make their career, who are going with a long period of time in their career and not getting married, they also are being doubted that he or she might having some problem in itself. So this is what the thinking of the society created this particular thing, and because of that people who does not want to marry at the early stage, or they want to marry at a later stage of their ages, becomes a problem. Because of society they have to marry earlier. So this is what the parents will force them, this is what the relatives will talk, everything creates a pressure on the particular male person or a female person, and because of that they have to marry early, no matter they are been settled in their careers or not. Then after, what is happening up because of this, man or woman, whoever is there who is unmarried till the age of 25 or 28, they start getting this type of questions, and they have to go with this particular marriage system unwillingly many a times. So this is what the University of Marriage talks about, where we find that people who are not married, they are being questioned, they are being asked, they are being doubted, and the society thinks negative point upon them, and they does not think that he or she might be willing to go with their own career or their own passion. So this is what is happening up. Again, you find that not even this common people, but also some of the people who are disabled, handicapped people, even those they are not get married by the age of their 25 or 28, you find that these people are also questioned. It has not been left out, or society does not think that he or she is handicapped and does not want to go with this. So this is what the mentality of Indian society is all about, and here this particular becomes a problem, where those person who does not want to go a marriage in their 30s or 20s are being forced or are being under pressurized by the society to get into the marriage. So this is what is happening up. But apart from our country, you find that people in the foreign countries, outside our countries, you find that they are having a freedom of choice. They are going with their own willing. People does not care what others do. They go with their own mentology. So this is what is happening up. So here you find that in advance of mostly high developed countries, they are only focusing on their career path and going with that. Whereas here, most of the India, women are getting married earlier by the age of 25 or to 28. So this is what the factor leads that more of birth rate because of this society. More of marriages are happening in India rather than other countries. So this is what you find that more females are getting into the marriage, and if you see all the worldwide or with the different countries, in India most of the female are married. compared to other countries ratio. So this is what is happening up. So university of marriage leads what, when you are being even marriage, you find that you start creating your generation, and that leads to the high birth rate. So this is what the mentality of India creates. This social factor creates more of reproduction, or we can say more of birth rate. This leads to the high birth rate because they have to now take the responsibility as a parents, take their family to the next generation. This all things comes after the marriage. So this is what is happening up. This leads to the high birth rate in India. I hope you have been clear with this first point. Let's go to the second factor, that is early marriages. In the ancient time, or we can say in the before independence also, you find that after independence many of the years, we find that early marriages system was been there. Why early marriages? In the ancient time only we have seen that the Bal Vivaha was been going on. Then after the abolition of Sati system, you find that this widows remarriage system also created, where we find that widows were given importance and they are being allowed to remarriage and go with the new life. Whereas earlier in the Sati system, you find that widows are not able to go with marrying system. They have to get buried under this if her husband going to be died. So this is what the system was been there in the earlier time, but Britishers removed this Sati system, and then after widow remarriage system came. But before that, earlier marriages, Bal Vivaha was been there. When you find that when this early marriage system comes, you find that these children which are not at the age to get married are been under marriage system. They are been then after forced to go with the new family creation, and you find that because of that, the girl which has been married with the earlier age, that time she tried to produce more babies than the other one, because she had a long fertility period from 15 age to 49 of age. So this creates what, more population in the society. Again we find that this system was been known earlier, and that's why there was a ban on child marriage or early child marriage. So now the government has given that if a girl is of 18 age, if a boy is of 21 age, then only they try to go with marriage. Earlier that it has been banned. So until unless girl becomes age of 18 and boy become age of 21, then after they can marry. Earlier that they cannot get married. So this is what the system says at present. But earlier it was not followed like that. It was only we can say if a boy is of 20, the girl is of 15, chalo, marry. If a boy is of 18, girl is of 16 also, get married. So this is what, it increases the fertility rate of the giving birth by the girl, or by the girl which has been married from 15 of age to 49 of age. So you find that those couples who have been married at an earlier age, they have more number of children in their family, like we can say 3, 4 or 5 maybe. So this results what, they can give more birth, and more birth creates high population in our country. So this was the earlier factor, where after independence also this early marriage system was not banned, and it has been banned from last, we can say, 10 years in our country. Earlier it was been going on. Still we find that many of the parts of the India, there are some places where villages follow still this early marriages. They try to fix the marriages when they are born. They have been fixing the marriages when they are age of 13 or 15. So this is what creates a more creation of birth in our society. Again we find that widows, when we come to the widow remarriage, earlier it was not allowed widow to get remarriage, and people was avoiding, or we can say they are thinking negative impact of this widow. But after the mentality has changed in our country, we find that widow remarriage was been acquired, and because of that, when they get remarried with another guy, they create more amount of high birth rates, or they create a new generation for their family also, and this leads to be what, again, new births in our country. So this again leads that widow remarriage also becomes a problem in a high birth rate many a times. Not all the times, but many a times it leads to the high birth rate also. This is what which the factor is being told up. So you find that this earlier child marriage creates more fertility rate for the female to give birth in our society, and widow remarriage also creates more fertility rate to create give new generation birth. So this is what we find that it happens. Chalo, let's go with the next one. प्रेफरेंस ऑफ द मेल चाइल्ड. चलो ये सब ठीक है, तो पता है कि भाई हमको री मैरिज है, अर्लियर चाइल्ड मैरिज है, लेकिन वाई देर इज़ एन इंक्रीज, दैट इज़ बिकॉज ऑफ गिविंग गेटिंग द मेल चाइल्ड. अर्लियर सिस्टम इफ़ यू सी देर वॉज बीन अ स्कैनिंग सिस्टम. वो लोग स्कैन करते थे, वो लोग they try to analyze whether the boy is going to come or girl is going to come. So in that factor you find that girl child, if is going to come, they try to abolish, they try to go with abortion. Okay, so ये सब चीज़ें होता था, और दूसरी बार वापस they try to go with getting male child. So यहाँ पे why there is a thinking of male child, what are the reasons? Main thing is that they find that their generation will get, they have a new inherit who will take their family or generation. Second is what they try to think the orthodox means earlier लोग क्या सोचते थे कि अगर हमको हेल में नहीं जाना, एक सुपरस्टिशियस बिलीव था कि हमको अगर हेल में नहीं जाना तो हमारे पास कंपलसरी मेल चाइल्ड होना चाहिए, जो हमको एक पू नाम का जो हेल के अंदर जो है राक्षस, उससे बचाएगा. सो दिस वॉज द थिंग विच बिलीव्ड मेड that we should have, or their couples should have a male child, and because of that it leads of more generation of we can say high birth rate. If a girl is been born, again they tried for male child, again a girl is born, again they tried for a male child. So this leads to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times children's which are being born here in this particular preference. Second is for procreation. What is procreation? That is for their generation to go on. So for that they require a male child. And lastly you find that due to financial problems, or we can say they think that in their old age, if a girl is been born, the girl will go to the husband house, whereas who will take care for them? So for that also they prefer male child to be there, so that they can have a good old age under the male child. So male child will take care of their own parents. So this was the mentality at that time, and because of this society mentality, Indian society dominance created more preference towards male child. Clear? So you find that these three reasons created more and more effect on the male child to be born, and that's why you find that many a times in the family, if 3 or 4 girls are being born, still they try to take for again a chance for male child to be born in this family. So this was the system which we find that after 3 or 4 times they try to go for procreation, in that they find male child to be coming up. So this was a major factor for creating this male child, or we can say high birth rate. Then the last factor in the social thing is joint family system. When you are living in a joint family system, many of you must be living in the joint family system. So what do you observe, what do you find in the joint family system? We try to live, I try to live in nuclear family, that is parents and me, but many families are living with their joint family system. When there is a joint family system, you find that the taking care of the children which are being born becomes very easy. There are grandparents, there are uncles, aunties, different we find that different things, different relatives are being together. So you find that the burden of the child is been reduced. So you find that in a family, if 2 or 3 childs are born, still parents can go for the work, and we find that grandparents can take care of their children. So in this society, in this particular system, you find that mostly in rural areas we find that this system has been going on, and because of that more birth rates are been coming up, increasing. So you find that financially responsibility also become distributed among the children's, as well as we find that taking care, the responsibilities of taking care as a parent is also reduced because of the grandparents, because of the uncles, aunties, everything are been available in the family. So here the child does not become the burden for any working couple. So this again lead to the high birth rate in the rural area. Mostly it has been seen in the rural area, not in the urban area. In urban area we find that parents try to go out for, both the parents are going out for their living, and earning the money, where only one or two child is been born and they know they are been educated, so where they does not go with this particular type, as well as their family is also nuclear, tiny family or nuclear family. So joint family influences, अगर आप अंकल आंटी के सब लोग के साथ रह रहे हो तो वहाँ पे कोई ना कोई आपका देखभाल करने के लिए रहेगा. इसके वजह से the parents are not having any tension or anything, and they try to go with or 2 or 3 childs for that particular generation. So this particular system helped to create more children for their helping, also for their procreation as well as for their living. Mostly you find that this system acquires in rural areas, and if I want to say, I can go with telling about Punjab, where we find that there the more big family system is been going on, joint family system is been going on, and there you find that there are so many children which are been there because of this joint family system. So this leads to high birth rate in our society. So these were the 4 points under the social factors which we have been known today. Next lecture we are going to learn about the economic factor which leads to the high birth rate. I hope you are being clear with all the 4 points. If you find still any doubts, any queries, you can just call or message me on my number. Thank you.